What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're going to talk about it. Today, we are reviewing The Golden Bachelorette, Week 2, Episode 2. It was a beautiful episode. I just have to say, this show is such a palate cleanser from all of the other mess that I watch. I watch some messy stuff, so this show is just so sweet and wholesome. I love it. I love it. Let's get right into the video. But before we do, please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post a new video. Even if you think you're subscribed, just take 1 second to double check because YouTube be unsubscribing people. Okay, so let's get into this week. So of course, as this week opens up, the men who received their roses last week are basking in their triumph. They're all super excited, but they also know that this competition just got real. So we see the gentlemen moving in and everyone is getting acquainted with their rooms. Now listen, I said this on the last season for The Golden Bachelor. I'm gonna say it again. Why do you have these people on bunk beds? Why do you have these people having to climb up to get into their bed? Half of them have to go to the bathroom 3-4 times a night, like they said. Why you don't give these grown men some real beds? Even if it's a twin, give them a regular bed. So we see Pascal, he's running around, he's stressed because there's only one closet, and he says that he has way too many clothes and shoes to fit in this one closet. On top of that, Pascal says that he sleeps in a certain kind of way.
No, I sleep naked.
Wait, what?
I sleep naked.
Which one's your bed?
This is my bed. I'm very comfortable with my masculinity. I'm very, I'm high maintenance.
Ooh, child. Okay, Pascal. So after they get all settled in, Jesse comes in and he gives them the rundown for the week. He says that there will be 3 dates, 2 group dates, and 1 private romantic date. But Jesse does warn them that those one-on-one private dates do come with a caveat.
There are going to be 3 dates this week. There are going to be 2 really fun group dates, and there's going to be 1 magical one-on-one date. I do have to tell you, if you go on that magical one-on-one date and you don't receive a rose, sadly, you're going to be going home immediately.
Could you repeat?
With that being said, the first group of guys run off to get ready for their first date with Joan, and they see that she is asking them to prom. And of course, this is super nostalgic for the majority of them. So after we see all the men get dressed, Joan pulls up in the limo and she hops out looking beautiful as always. And she tells them that she wanted to ask them to prom because it brings back so many memories for her. She says the prom is where she had her first kiss. It was her first time wearing a long fancy dress, and she loves the feeling of doing that all over again with this group of guys. She also lets them know that although she's excited, she's still very, very nervous because she has to go on 8 dates, spend quality time with each of these guys, and get to know them better. And of course, the guys are already extremely nervous for this date, but once they arrive to the venue, they're even more nervous because someone has to be named prom king. And whoever is named prom king will receive that rose and then go on that one-on-one date with Joan. I love the way that they set the prom up. It was so cute. It made me think of my high school prom. We see Taylor Dane. She comes out, she starts singing her song, and the men get out on the dance floor and they start showing their moves for Joan.
And they had dance moves.
They're all having a great time. They're eating, they're dancing, they're playing games. They have old pictures from when everyone was in high school. It is so, it is so cute. Next, we see Joan and Jonathan have a conversation, and he tells her that he didn't go to his high school prom because he went to a very small Catholic school where he was the only Black person. He says that he asked the girl out, she accepted, and then a couple days before the prom, she said, I'm not going. And he said that that moment really shattered his ego, and that's pretty much when he started to develop this tougher exterior to protect himself from being hurt. So you can kind of say that was like his villain origin story. Yeah. But Jonathan says that he is proud to say that at 61, he's finally went to prom, he's healed, and he is having a great time with Joan. We then see Joan go on multiple dates with different guys, and she learns a little something about each of them.
Little did I know that Gary is Tina Turner's godson. Tell me, what was she like in person?
Nothing like she is on stage.
I mentioned that you also have a gay daughter, right?
Now it's to the point where Thanksgiving comes around, and it's Dr. Bob and 27 lesbians.
I love it. And as crazy as it sounds, Jordan tells me he went on a date with Taylor Dane 5 years ago.
I asked her if she remembered me. She's like, yeah, we had 5 minutes together.
And while Joan is having fun on all of these dates, we see Charles, and he is off to the side by himself, just sitting down. He's not really mingling. He's not really dancing, but we get a little bit more insight as to why when he has his one-on-one date with Joan.
My wife passed away. Yeah, so that was almost 6 years ago. Almost, yeah. It was very tough. Everything went so well with us until one day I was on my business trip. She was with me. All of a sudden, it was brain aneurysm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is so sad because, like Joan says, a lot of them who are there lost their spouse. These are people that they were married to for 25, 30, 40 years. So she totally understands Charles's pain.
It's a long journey to come to terms with that. I particularly feel sorry for men. I think that they have a harder time dealing with emotions because they don't express them, and I was open with them. I feel so honored that he would share with me these intimate emotions.
But Charles also lets her know that his daughters are the ones who encouraged him to move on, and of course, never forget their mother. He loves their mother, they love their mother, but they just hated to see him so depressed for so many years. And y'all, I almost shed a tear when Charles said that this prom is the happiest that he has been since his wife passed away. And of course, that touched Joan very deeply, and you can tell that she really appreciated his vulnerability. And then next we see Charles give his daughter a call, and it's just the cutest thing.
Hello.
Hi, Sophia. This is your dad.
Hi, Dad.
I believe what happened to me today. I went to the prom.
Are you having fun?
Oh yeah. I'm getting better and better. I just miss you guys. Okay.
miss you too, Dad.
Thank you. Talk to you another time soon.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we see who gets that one-on-one date.
Chuck,
Yes, sir.
meet me at the happiest place on earth.
Fellas, all right. Congratulations, Chuck.
See now, Chuck, I know you all excited for that one-on-one date, but don't forget that if you don't get that rose on this date, you're going home, baby. You're going home. So we're back at the prom, and we see that Joan crowns Jonathan as her prom king. She said that she loved that he felt comfortable enough to tell her that his heart was still healing from the pain of his prom. And Jonathan is tearing up while Joan is speaking, but of course he gladly accepts his crown and his rose, and they share a cute little dance. So child, it's the next morning, and Pascal has some concerns.
Did you hear the snoring last night? Have you ever heard that before? It was snoring. I've never experienced that before. And Greg was like,
Apparently, I'm a snorer, but how would I know? I'm asleep when it happens.
Now, Pascal, I know you're not complaining about people snoring when you're the one walking around this house butt naked at night. I'm just saying. So now it's time for Joan to go on her one-on-one date with Chalk, and they go to Disneyland. Joan says that she picked Chalk for this date because she knows he's a sweet guy. He has qualities that are extremely important to her. They both value family. He's a gentleman, but she wants to see if he's fun. And while watching this scene, I was really rooting for Chalk because I like him. I really do. As you remember in the previous review, when he was looking at Joan while they were having a conversation, he looked like he was about to cry. He looks like he was already in love with her. So I was happy to see him get that one-on-one time with her. So we see them have an amazing date. They both feel the chemistry, and Joan lets Chalk know that she had an amazing time with him and she really enjoyed his company. And to top it all off, she then says that she has something even more special planned for later on tonight.
I learned a lot of things that I really liked hearing. And I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. Oh, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Listen, these two looked so nice. Chalk looked amazing in his tux. Joan looked gorgeous in her dress. They look like a little Disney couple. Just everything. The dinner is so beautiful and so romantic, and we see them get into a deep conversation about Chalk's wife and family. So he says that for his first marriage, he got married when he was 30. They had 2 beautiful kids together. The marriage lasted for 12 years, but they just weren't right for each other. And he says that he still wishes her the best. 3 years after his first marriage, he met his fiancée, Kathy, and he really stresses to Joan that they had all intentions on getting married. He says that they were together for 9 years. And that was a little interesting to me because 9 years is a long time to just be dating, but I know that it's not one size fits all, especially when you have older people who've probably been married already, who have families. Sometimes they're just not in a rush to get married, or sometimes they're like, look, I've done this already. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. You're what I want. Let's get married right now. Let's get married right now. But I think that he made sure to stress that he had all intentions on getting married to Kathy because he didn't want Joan to kind of give him the side eye like, 9 years, that's a long time. He says that one day Kathy's son called him and said, hey, you need to come to the hospital. And when he arrived to the hospital, Kathy was having a seizure. They ran some tests and they found that she had tumors on her brain. And the doctors did tell Chalk that it was not looking good. And she only lived for 5 months and 4 days after that. Chalk says that that was the only time in his life where he truly broke down. And of course, him and Joan bonded over this because Joan had a similar story of how her late husband, John, passed. And she said that she had to pretty much watch her husband die and how tragic that was for her. But one thing that they both say is that even while their loved ones were passing, they gave them their blessing to move on. They gave them their blessing to find love again, to be happy again. And that is what the both of them are doing. And then in Joan's confessional, we hear her say that magic word. She says that Chalk makes her feel safe. Now, this is the same thing that she said about Keith when she gave him the first impression rose last week. That feeling of safety, that feeling of familiarity is very important to Joan. Clearly, that is a feeling that she has been missing since the passing of her late husband, and she is trying to get that back. So my boy Chalk did well, and he got his rose after the date. Listen, I really like them together. I know it's early, but watching them, I got a couple of tingles while watching them on their date. It was just so sweet, so pure, so wholesome, and you can see the chemistry between them. I absolutely loved this date, and I love them together. So now it's time for the second group date, and it is a golden talent show. Some people are excited and prepared, and some people not so much.
You're invited to the second annual Golden Talent Showcase today.
Hey, very cool.
Joan said that it was important for her to have a talent show because she knows what it feels like to have to step outside of your comfort zone and be extremely nervous, but still get something done in the name of love. We see Lonnie Love come out. She will be hosting the talent show, which makes some of the guys even more nervous because she is a comedian. And Jesse lets everyone know that whoever wins this talent show will be getting that one-on-one romantic date with Joan tonight. So child, we see everything from comedy to punching to poetry to yo-yoing to puppeteering.
Never been the brightest star in the sky, and when they tell you to memorize, I'm not good with it.
Pascal shows off his hair cutting talents, okay?
He's cutting. Good. You can do that in 3 minutes. Boy, Pascal can do a lot in 3 minutes.
And then we see Kim sing Joan a song that he said that he prepared for her before this even started.
At the end of every rainbow, I hope with all my heart, brings your search to a conclusion. Could I perhaps be the one who's at your rainbow's end?
It was so sweet, and baby, his hair was laid, okay? His hair looked good. And the song won Joan over because he got an immediate hug and kiss. And after that, I was like, oh, he got this in the bag. Kim won. He won. But that was until the next performance, okay? Because Dan came up, and you can tell that he was extremely nervous because he has tremors, right? He says that he's had them since he was a child. So he was hoping that he didn't mess up. And you can see him shaking while he was on stage. And in Joan's confessional, she says that she immediately noticed his shaky hands, but she was excited to see him do his best.
I'm Dan. I'm gonna move this to the side a minute.
So Dan gets up on stage, and I notice his shaky hands.
Anyway, the other thing is, I'm not nervous. I have a little bit of a tremor. This is perfect for my shaky hands. You guys know this. It's just life, and so own it, deal with it.
Baby, Dan did an amazing job. I love that he was up front and mentioned his tremors, and he made it a point to still have fun and still be vulnerable, not only with Joan, but with everyone there. I think it was a great move. See, now in this moment, I do feel bad for Kim because I think that he did an amazing job and he wants to be happy for Dan, but it is clear that he is a tad bit upset that he did not win the talent show. And even when they get back to the mansion, some of the other guys noticed that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Well, of course I'd like to have had, I mean, this is all about, what I'm here for is to get to know Joan. I don't begrudge Dan a thing, but it is one less opportunity to have that one-on-one time.
So next we see Joan and Dan. They go on their one-on-one date and they have some very deep conversations. He tells her that he has diabetes, and at one point, his doctor even told him that he only had 6 months to live. And he said that because of that, he made sure to take a break from work and focus on his health. And thankfully, there was a major turnaround. So as we see, Joan definitely loved the date. She gives Dan a rose and they kiss. And I will say that although the date was nice, I just didn't get that same feeling that I got on her previous date. I wasn't feeling all tingly inside like I was with Chalk. I didn't feel like they were staring into each other's eyes lovingly. Nice date. Different vibe. And I also did not hear Joan say that magic word in her confessional that Dan made her feel safe. And as we know, that is very important for Joan. So after that date, I was like, I don't know, Dan. I don't know. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, we see the guys preparing food because they are having a little barbecue later, okay? Joan is so excited for the barbecue because now she gets to spend even more time with each guy. So we see Joan go on a couple of dates, and although the majority of the guys were very excited to spend some one-on-one time with Joan, it looks like Jack was more ready to get his date over with so he could move on to more important things.
Now that I've talked to Joan, I am ready to get my ass in the pool.
Jack in the pool.
I feel like Jack is just here for the cannonballs.
Next, we see Joan and Gil have a date, and they have a beautiful conversation.
And I gotta tell you, she loved the Bachelor franchise from the beginning.
My husband loved this.
She just loved the show, and she would watch every episode with my daughter.
Maybe she's up there with John.
Yeah. Maybe they're waiting for us.
Okay, now I'm gonna cry too. Okay. They want us to be happy, right?
Yes. I love being married to my wife. Hope to be married again someday. And if it's Joan, that would be fantastic.
Child, next we see Gary go on a date with Joan, and this scene had me tearing up because of how he was tearing up. I love that Joan gave him this super sentimental gift, and you can see that it truly touched him.
I had such a great time at prom, and I don't know if you remember them taking pictures. And I think ours is really good. So I had it framed. And so I have a little gift for you.
Oh my God. Who would have thought? That's me. I said I wasn't gonna cry. But it does mean a lot to me. It really does.
Next, we see Joan go on a date, and he shares pictures of his wife and his fiance and a beautiful letter to his granddaughter, and he gets so choked up about it. And he says that he loves that Joan understands that he still loves his wife, just as he knows that Joan still loves her late husband, John, and that it's something that the both of them can connect on. Child, next we see Joan go on a date with fine behind Mark, okay? And he plays a cute little game with her where he quizzes her on her German, but the last question was extra special.
So the last one of all of these is one I wasn't quite sure of. Kann ich dich küssen? Can I kiss you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it is.
Baby, after that kiss, I was like, so we know Mark ain't going home. Mark ain't going nowhere for a while, okay? And oh, baby, not only was Mark not going home, but clearly that kiss was good enough to get him the very first rose at the rose ceremony. I know that's right, Mark. So of course, as Joan is saying all the names, every guy who hasn't gotten a rose yet gets more and more nervous. They start reevaluating the week. They start reevaluating the dates and everything that's happened so far. And now there's only one rose left.
Bye.
With all my heart.
Now, I must say, I am sad to see my guy Jack go home, okay? I do like Jack. He was funny. He was like the comedic relief in the house. He was the chef. He's always jumping in the pool. Loved Jack. I really didn't see him and Joan together, but I liked his energy on the show and I liked his energy in the house. He seems like a nice guy and he was such a good sport all the way to the end.
Jack.
I had a ball in this place. I had a couple of cocktails. It's all good. I did my cannonballs in the pool today. The end is near. The final curtain. I planned each charted course, each careful step. I did it my way.
So, of course, all of the gentlemen who didn't make it say bye to Joan, and the ones who did are just thankful that they made it through to see another week, child. This episode was super cute. Tell me who's your favorite guy. I know we're only on week 2, but right now, it's chalk for me. I love them together. So romantic, so sweet. And he makes her feel safe. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell because we're going to be back here next week. So tell me all your thoughts, y'all. Leave them down below because as always, we will chat. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.
Roxy says we're gonna talk.